January. Outside, 14 degrees. Inside, 68 degrees. No furnace running. No heat pump cycling. No propane burning. Just sunlight coming through glass, hitting a concrete floor, and a U-shaped building doing something that most HVAC engineers will tell you requires expensive equipment to achieve. Heating itself. Passively. Completely. For free. This isn't a solar panel story. This isn't a battery bank story. This isn't a smart thermostat story. It's a shape story. And a greenhouse story. And a thermal mass story. And when those three things work together, in a U-shaped Barndominium, the result is a building that heats itself through the coldest months of the year without consuming a single watt of purchased energy to do it. Here's exactly how. If you're building in a cold climate, and you want a home that takes heating costs off the table permanently, subscribe to Barndominium Haven right now. Hit the bell. Stay till the cost section. Because the U-shaped greenhouse Barndominium's upfront premium pays itself back in a timeline that's shorter than most people expect. Let's get into the system. Most people who build passive solar homes treat the solar strategy as something applied to a building. South-facing windows, thermal mass floors, carefully calculated overhangs. Good, correct, but limited. Because a rectangular building with south-facing glazing captures solar energy on one face. The U-shaped Barndominium captures solar energy on three faces simultaneously and uses the geometry of the courtyard to concentrate that energy rather than disperse it. Here's what I mean. In a south-facing U-shape, left wing angled slightly southeast, right wing angled slightly southwest, rear body facing directly south, the three interior faces of the U all receive southern exposure. Not just the rear wall, all three. And the courtyard they form, that enclosed semi-outdoor space between the wings, acts as a solar collection basin. Sunlight enters the courtyard from the south. The south-facing walls absorb it. The courtyard floor absorbs it. The reflected light from one wing's interior face bounces into the adjacent wing and heats that surface too. The courtyard is not just a lifestyle feature in this building. It's the primary solar collection system, and the greenhouse wing, which we're about to get into, is the element that captures what the courtyard collects and stores it for the night. One wing of the U, the south-facing left or right wing, is built as a full-length glazed greenhouse, not a lean-to attached to the outside. A wing of the building, a complete structural section of the U, glazed from sill to roof peak on its south face, and open internally to the main living space through a series of thermally managed openings. The greenhouse wing does three specific things in the passive heating system. First, it's a solar collector. South-facing glass, in a well-designed glazed wing, captures solar radiation throughout the day. Even on overcast days, diffused solar radiation still enters the glass and heats the space. The greenhouse wing runs warmer than the exterior, typically 20 to 35 degrees warmer than outside, on a clear winter day, creating a thermal buffer zone between the cold exterior and the conditioned living space. Second, it distributes heated air. As the greenhouse wing warms, the air inside it rises and moves through the managed openings into the adjacent living space. Warm air from the greenhouse flowing into the living space. Cooler air from the living space flowing back into the greenhouse at the lower vents. A natural convection loop, no fan required, driven purely by the temperature differential between the greenhouse and the living space. Third, it extends the growing season. For a homesteader, or anyone interested in food production, a greenhouse wing that's integrated into the building's passive heating system is not just a thermal asset, it's a year-round food source. In January, While the greenhouse wing is heating the house, it's also growing tomatoes, herbs, citrus, in a space that's 20 degrees warmer than the exterior. That combination, heating the home and growing food simultaneously, from one architectural element, is one of the most genuinely satisfying design decisions I've encountered in residential construction. Here's where the system gets genuinely clever. Because the greenhouse wing only collects solar energy while the sun is shining. At night, or during multi-day overcast periods, the collection stops. Without thermal mass, without somewhere to store the heat collected during the day, the building cools overnight, and the passive heating advantage disappears by morning. The thermal mass strategy is what makes the passive system work through the night. In this building, thermal mass is concentrated in 3 places. The greenhouse wing floor, a 4-inch reinforced concrete slab with a dark surface finish, absorbs solar radiation directly during the day and radiates that stored heat back into the greenhouse wing through the night as the air temperature drops. The rear body's south-facing interior wall, a mass wall, typically 8-inch concrete block or rammed earth, exposed to the courtyard and the greenhouse wing's warm air during the day, storing heat in its mass and releasing it slowly through the night into the living space behind it. And the courtyard floor itself, dark concrete, thermally massive, directly exposed to winter sun through the open southern face of the use capre, capturing solar radiation at ground level and releasing it as radiant heat into the courtyard air mass after sunset. 3 thermal mass elements, 3 storage systems, all charged by the sun during the day, all releasing heat through the night. This is not a new idea. It's the Trombe wall principle, the sun space principle, the solar greenhouse principle, all of which have been documented in passive solar engineering literature since the 1970s, applied simultaneously in a U-shaped configuration that maximizes the collection surface, the storage mass, and the distribution area simultaneously. Let me walk through the complete daily cycle so you can see exactly how the system works, hour by hour. Morning. The sun rises in the southeast. The left wing of the U receives early morning solar gain. The greenhouse wing begins warming. The mass wall begins absorbing. Midday. The sun is due south, at its highest winter angle. The rear body of the U receives maximum solar exposure. The courtyard floor is in full solar collection mode. The greenhouse wing is at peak temperature, possibly 75 to 85 degrees internally. Warm air is flowing through the upper vents into the living space. Afternoon. The sun moves southwest. The right wing of the U picks up afternoon solar gain. The thermal mass elements are at their maximum stored energy. The mass wall begins radiating back into the living space. Evening. The sun sets. Active solar collection ends. The greenhouse wing vents close to prevent heat loss back through the glass. The thermal mass continues radiating. The courtyard's stored ground heat rises into the courtyard air mass. The building maintains temperature from stored energy. Night. The thermal mass releases stored heat gradually through the night. The interior temperature drops slowly, typically 3 to 5 degrees over a full night, rather than the rapid drop of a conventionally heated building whose heat source is off. Morning again. The sun rises. The cycle restarts. In a well-designed version of this system, in a climate with adequate winter sun, the building can maintain comfortable temperatures through the heating season without mechanical heating as the primary system. Not without any mechanical backup, but without mechanical heating as the primary system. That's the difference between zero electric bill and reduced electric bill. And I want to be honest about which one this system consistently delivers. My favorite feature, the courtyard in winter. Here's the paradox of the U-shaped greenhouse barndominium in cold climates. The courtyard, which you'd expect to be the least usable space in winter, is actually the most thermally comfortable outdoor space on the property. 3 walls of the building surround it. The south face is open, but the 3 surrounding walls absorb solar heat during the day and radiate it back into the courtyard in the afternoon and evening. The courtyard runs 10 to 15 degrees warmer than the ambient exterior temperature on calm winter days. On a 30-degree afternoon, the courtyard might be 43 to 45 degrees. Cold, but usable. A place to sit in winter sun without a jacket when it's freezing 20 feet away on the other side of the building. That thermal haven, that one space that the building's geometry has made habitable when everything outside it is not, is one of the most genuinely surprising residential experiences I've encountered. You build the U-shape for the passive heating. You stay for the courtyard in February. The mistake. Wrong orientation. And I can't emphasize this enough. Because every single element of the passive heating system depends on one thing: the south-facing orientation of the U's open face. Every degree of deviation from true south, east of south or west of south, reduces the solar collection of every element in the system simultaneously. The greenhouse wing collects less. The rear body absorbs less. The courtyard floor receives less direct radiation. The thermal mass charges to a lower temperature. The overnight discharge covers a smaller temperature deficit. At 30 degrees east of south, the system's performance drops by approximately 25 to 35%. At 45 degrees east of south, you've essentially built a U-shaped building with some south-facing glass, not a passive solar system. The open face of the U must face within 15 degrees of true south. This is not a design preference. It's the entire premise of the heating strategy. And it means the site plan and the building orientation must be resolved before anything else, before the floor plan, before the builder selection, before the kit is ordered. True south first, everything else second. If your land doesn't allow a south-facing U orientation, either find different land or build a different configuration. The passive heating system doesn't work, pointed the wrong direction. Real numbers. 2026 mid-cost markets. U-shaped greenhouse Barndominium, 2 wings plus rear body, total conditioned space, approximately 2,200 square feet, with 1 wing fully glazed as greenhouse, rear body as primary living, second wing as bedroom suite. Standard U-shaped Barndominium structure. See our previous cost breakdowns. Approximately $293,000 to $448,000 fully finished. Passive solar upgrades, above standard U-shape. Greenhouse wing glazing upgrade, replacing standard metal wall panels with thermally broken aluminum-framed glazing system. South face of 1 wing, approximately 600 square feet of glass, $28,000 to $45,000. Thermal mass floor upgrade, 4-inch reinforced concrete slab with dark surface finish in greenhouse wing and courtyard. Replacing standard Barndominium slab, $6,000 to $10,000. Mass wall construction, rear body south-facing interior wall in 8-inch concrete block instead of standard stud wall, $8,000 to $13,000. Thermally managed vent system, upper and lower vents between greenhouse wing and living space, with operable dampers, $3,500 to $6,500. Courtyard dark concrete floor with sealed finish, $4,000 to $7,000. Mechanical backup system, a mini split for days when passive heating isn't sufficient. Because honesty matters, $4,500. Passive solar design consultation, an engineer or passive solar consultant who verifies the overhang depths, the glazing ratios, and the thermal mass sizing for your specific latitude and climate zone, $2,500 to $5,000. This consultation is non-negotiable. The passive solar system works when it's sized correctly. Too much glass, overheating in shoulder seasons, too little thermal mass, inadequate overnight storage, wrong overhang depth, Summer heat gain you didn't want. Get the sizing verified before you build it. Total passive solar upgrade cost, $56,500 to $93,500 above standard U-shape construction. Total all-in build cost including standard U-shape, $349,500 to $541,500 fully finished. Mid-cost U.S. market, 2026. Now the payback calculation. A conventionally heated home of equivalent size in a cold climate, running a heat pump or propane system, spends approximately $1,800 to $3,200 per year on heating, at $2,500 per year average. The passive solar upgrade cost of $56,500 to $93,500 pays back in 22 to 37 years in heating cost savings alone. That's longer than most payback calculations make comfortable. Here's the honest modifier. That payback calculation assumes energy prices stay flat. They haven't. They won't. Every year that energy costs rise, the passive solar system's annual savings increase, and the payback timeline shortens. At 5% annual energy cost increases, the payback compresses to 15 to 22 years, and the system keeps performing for the remaining life of the building, potentially 50 or more years, with zero fuel cost for every year after payback. Here's my honest take. Zero electric bill is the aspirational headline. The achievable reality, in most climates with adequate winter sun, is dramatically reduced heating costs, potentially zero heating costs in mild winter months, and a building that maintains comfort during power outages and fuel supply disruptions without any mechanical system running at all. That last point, the resilience, is the argument I find most compelling in 2026. Not the payback calculation, not the energy savings. The fact that when the grid goes down in a January ice storm, this building keeps itself warm, with sunlight, and a concrete floor, and 3 walls facing south. No generator, no backup fuel, no call to the utility company, just physics, working the way it's always worked, in a building designed to let it. Subscribe to Barndominium Haven. Tell me in the comments, what climate are you building in? And is zero heating cost something you're designing for? I want to know, and I'll see you in the next one.